Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. This video is the top 10 super moves of Street Fighter 6. So obviously there's a lot of super moves in this game. In fact, everyone has 3 of them, so there's a lot to go over. And just so you know, this is indeed my personal opinion, although I'll be giving you my explanations for every single choice. And keep in mind, I'm factoring things like utility more than just raw damage. Yes, indeed, every character in the game can do the big flashy combo into the level 3 super, all that kind of stuff, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean the super is good, right? Sure, it's going to add a lot of damage to your combo, but it doesn't mean it's good in and of itself. So the purpose of this video is looking at the supers that are good in and of themselves. So that said, let's start at number 10. So coming in at number 10 is the Shinku Hadoken for Ryu, just because it's just a good workhorse of a super. It's 1 bar, does respectable damage, and it's good in a lot of situations. Like say you're in a fireball war, if you're looking for it, that's basically an easy win, right? That's great. So in that traditional Street Fighter fireball war, it's just a good to have. And also it helps just up his overall damage, you know. Like, a lot of characters can't necessarily easily combo into a level 1 in this game, other than just going like normal into level 1 due to the combo rules and special canceling. But Ryu, it's not a big deal because he's given a lot of opportunities just to juggle. So if you want to do like a level 1 here, that's fine. Like most people, you would do like, say, a Shoryuken, but it does more damage than Shoryuken. Same here if you're going for like EX Hurricane kick combos in the corner. It'll just do more damage than Shoryuken, so that's always good. Also, depending on your spacing and where you are on the screen here, that old Fireball War, it plays really nice with your OD Fireball specifically, as it's pretty easy to combo from after the fact. So just gives even more teeth to that common scenario. Just power through with OD Fireball and then follow up with a Shinku Hadoken. Simple as that. So it's not a game changer necessarily. It's just a really solid tool. That's why it comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is DJ's level 1 Super Sobat Kick Super. And the reason why it's here is it works a little bit differently than most level 1s. In that if it is a punish counter, it actually causes a crumple state. So it allows you just to go into combos directly from it, which is very interesting. It's not normally how these work. And therefore, it lets you just get some respectable damage without having to commit to any drive gauge meter at all. So say if you're low on drive gauge meter or you're burned out specifically, you can still get a really big punish and burn nothing but your super meter. So just the fact that it works a little bit different, it is not an invincible reversal like many other level 1s, but then again, you know, DJ doesn't exactly have problems in the reversal department. He's good, don't worry, right? But yeah, it's a very different tool than most characters are given, and pretty much on that basis alone, it comes in at number 9. Now at number 8 is E Honda. So E Honda, his level 1 super, is maybe not much to look at, right? At least animation wise. Now in the rules of sumo, it's pretty cool because that would definitely be a guaranteed ring out, right? But in Street Fighter, he just knocks you across the ground. But what's interesting about it here, and this is the reason why we have the frame data on here, is the speed. I think it might be the single fastest level 1 super in the game. Comes in at 7 frames, which is great because that's a good sweet spot for him, as it's faster than any of his medium attacks that have decent range. So say in our example here, we're going to show you a straight up punish. We're going to use, say, the most basic setup you're going to see. Crouch, medium kick, and the fireball. And say it's not perfectly spaced. And the thing is here, against Honda specifically, if Ryu does not perfectly space that, Ryu's going to get blown up. Punish counter right there, straight up. So that's -7. You know what? Like, good on them for the most part, right? Like, even if they were fast enough, usually with the pushback, like, you can't even connect with the mediums alone, like the lights that are fast enough, right? But this is a great combination of speed and range, and you can get that big punish damage in. You know, a lot of characters can't do much at that exact range. Honda can, and for a decent chunk of damage. Now, the move is not magic. Like, if Ryu properly spaces it, not going to work, right? Because it'll hit later in the active frame. Specifically, it hit on the 8th frame instead of the 7th, which gives him 1 frame to block, right? So it's not perfect. But there's a lot of scenarios that are common in Street Fighter 6 that Honda can totally blow up. Like, ever block this stupid thing from JP after like a couple jabs? I know you have, right? Everyone has. So Honda doesn't really care that much. Honda says, bring it on, old man. I got the power of sumo on my side. That is definitely a punish counter. Only at like immaculately spaced ranges will that not be a guaranteed punish for Honda's level 1 super. So in like most common scenarios, it's just a guaranteed punish. So this is one of those things where you definitely want to pay attention to that frame data, because if it's -7 or above, and he doesn't push you out that far, like out of the range of light, surely, which would make it safe nominally, it is not necessarily safe against Honda's level 1 super. So for that reasons, it makes it on the list. So our next super to talk about is Blanca's level 2. This is an install. So you can see he's glowing a little bit. So it doesn't do damage in and of itself. And you see there's a little bit of a bar draining here for a super meter. But what it does is to turbocharges the Blanca balls. So what it does here, after you do it, you can follow up and get additional Blanca balls. So specifically, it lets you do 3 extra Blanca balls. So the original, a follow-up, and another follow-up. And then, well, you get extra damage, all that kind of stuff. And it also ups the general utility of it. Like say, block string pressure. So normally, medium Blanca ball is not safe on block, usually, right? But with this, if say you're trying to go in for that big punish, now you can go, no, I'm just working my way back in, actually. Like, you can actually be pretty tricky with it. And to keep following up, the opponent has to respect the fact that you can do 3 more potential Blanca balls. So if they try to like do something or hit buttons, you can just run up to them and blow them up for it. So his general pressure is just much stronger. Not to mention other utility, since it's an install, doesn't have a hit. Take something like stand heavy punch, right? It's -3 on block. But if you do stand heavy punch, cancel it into the level 2, is now +10 on block, right? So now if you're just willing to activate, you can have tons of plus frames, plus the ability to have the install ready in their face, good to go, right? So there's good strong pressure on multiple levels, not just the move itself. And finally, not the least of which, it does just make your Blanca balls electric, meaning you do a little bit more damage. And also, it means any stray Blanca ball will turbocharge the Blanca dolls. So you don't have to necessarily always do the electricity. Blanca ball now counts as the electricity for setting these guys off. Including the fact the EX will send the little guy nuts. So just keep that in mind. So on a lot of levels, it's just really good. I like this move quite a bit. Coming in here, number 6, we're talking Ken's level 2 super. That's his infamous super you've seen all the time, all sorts of combos in Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, all that stuff, right? So there's another reason we got the frame data up here, because this is Honda's level 1 super, but even better. The startup of his level 2 super is a ridiculous 6 frames. 6 frames. So the range of the move, by the way, is maybe even just a little bit better than Honda's. So that's great. It's as good or maybe just a little bit better than Honda's as far as the range goes. But it can punish things even Honda's cannot. So let me give you the scenario here. Chun-Li does like whatever in the fireball. And like it's -6, but with the pushback like this far away, -6 doesn't mean a damn thing, right? Like it's not, you're not exactly hitting with your lights from this far away. It's effectively completely safe, except against Ken. As a reversal, Ken can punish this. I don't think any other character in the game can. It's purely because of the range and the ridiculously fast startup of the level 2, 6 frames, monstrously fast. So Ken can punish things other characters simply cannot if he's willing to burn the meter. Like, let's give you another very prominent example here. DJ crouch medium kick is a sweep, and it's the safest sweep in the game, right? It's -6 and has a bit of pushback. So realistically, are you punishing this move? No way in heck are you punishing this move unless you're Ken. Even at absolute max range of this move, Ken can punish this. So DJ, if you're abusing that sweep, which is a great move, is definitely a very abusable move, against Ken, you got to watch out. So for these reasons, Ken can punish otherwise unpunishable moves. That is why it's on this list. Next up on the list is JP's absolutely ridiculous level 2 super move. So he creates 4 ghosts that attack. And not only do they attack, they can hit high and low. So the first one's mid, but then it's overhead, low, overhead. And it took me a long time to figure this one out in the middle of real matches, by the way. I got smoked by this a lot, because why is it this way? I don't know, but that's why it's on the list. So mid, overhead, low, overhead. That's great, right? And the thing is, too, this is his neutral in a way. So say he just does it like full screen. Screw it. The ghosts come out almost instantly. Even if you're walking forward, you just kind of have to hold back and just deal with it now. And while you're dealing with it, so while you're grooving on this, and it doesn't matter if you parry or not really, he can just set up shop and just work his way in right away. And you're going to have an overhead ghost just directly in your face. He can go low. And say he's just in your face and does it like off a block string, right? For one, there is gaps, which means he can throw you, by the way. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you can just block or parry everything. In fact, if you parry and he throws you, he's going to get that extra damage, right? So the gaps are more working against you than saving you. And of course, he can pepper in his own lows, his own overheads, and all sorts of fun little gimmicks. The pressure is amazing up close. The fact that he can just lock you down from afar whenever he wants for the most part. This move is just absolutely ridiculous, and JP will appear again later on in the list. Now, the next character up in the list here, we're starting to get up there, right, is Manon. And Manon, it's her level 1 super. Now, at first, I was like doing up this list, like it was on there and I took it off and I took it off and I took it off. Then I started really looking at it. Then it kept going higher and higher up the list. This is the #1 level 1 super in the game, as far as I'm concerned. And why is that? So like many of these, we got the frame data on for good reason. So at point blank is 10 frames, which isn't much. Like it's certainly not Ken or Honda like we talked about earlier, right? But the thing is, the travel time's significant, as it can hit from like this far away, like a good, I'd say 80% of the screen. The slowest this move can hit from this far away, about 80-85% of the screen away, is 13 frames. 13 frames from this far away is ridiculous, honestly, especially for a single meter. So this means Manon, who honestly doesn't have much screen presence until she gets like, pretty close, right? Because she is a grappler, right? People should not normally be scared of a character that's a grappler from this far away, because what the hell can they do? Well, it turns out she can do a pretty picture here herself, right? So let's take someone like Jury. Like, you would think doing store is safe, right? And like, why wouldn't it be? Like, it's one of the safest things you can do in Street Fighter, just going for a quick store from like near full screen. Against Manon, if she's looking for it, maybe not so much. She can buffer that in and get a punch counter from that far away. Other characters in the game can't necessarily do anything about that. Manon, if you're on the ball, man, this move will do work for you. So this makes her scary from like a range that she should not be scary from, because even like her long range stuff will not connect from that far away, right? And you actually have to worry about whiffing mundane things against her. Like most of the cast, like, I could whip this from that far away, who cares? Because it's not like you're going to do anything. Turns out, man, Manon is the one character, well, there's another character up further on the list, right? But she's one of the very few characters, especially with the level 1, that she can make you respect what you're doing from far away, which is just normally something a grappler cannot do. So for that reason, Manon's level 1 is definitely big time on this list. Next up on our list, it's Zangief. So frankly, honestly, you already know where this is going, right? Like, has to be the 720. Very incredibly fast. If you see the super flash and you're on the ground, it's already too late. You're already done. The damage is titanic. It's the single most damaging move in the game. And there's not much else to say than that. If you see that flash, your life is over. End of story. And the worst part is, despite the fact it's guaranteed when you see the flash, right? It's going to make you feel stupid, because all it takes, it's not like so many of these other moves where you did something wrong. You whiffed a move, you did a bad move in a block string, you're going to get punished, or you're going to get hit by the cool sick combo, right? All it takes is the tiniest, most momentary lapse in judgment, and whoops. Oh yeah, knee hammer, he's gonna do, oh, I'm dead, right? Like, by the time you can even process it happen, you're like, oh yeah, that's right? So, for a million ways to gimmick into it, to just work your way into it and just do the move, and like, what else do I gotta say, right? Izangi 720, it's a hell of a super, it's on the list. Coming in at number 2 is JP's level 3, just because of the utility. It is very truly a full screen move. You can do this anywhere on the screen, doesn't affect the startup time. It'll hit as fast from this close as it would from like legitimately full screen. It's great for combos, it's great for punishes, it's just great all around. Like, say you get a simple whiff punish, and JP specifically, this is not especially difficult, right? Boom, level 3, right? You're comboing them from the other side of the screen, you get your level 3 off. Pretty as you please, looks really cool, looks like a Mortal Kombat fatality almost, which is fitting because he's basically a Mortal Kombat character in Street Fighter, right? That's good, but just the fact that it's so fast for what it is, and the fact that it's legitimately full screen, you can't do anything. You can't whiff anything anywhere at all. Like, we talked earlier about Mano, it's like much the same principle, except it's actually literally full screen, and it's also full invincible startup, unlike Mano. Like, throw a fireball from literally full screen? Nah, you're dead. You're dead. You'd think that'd be the safest possible thing you could do, right? But when JP has his level 3 up, you cannot whiff anything anywhere at all. You cannot do anything more than like whiff jabs. Otherwise, he can get you from anywhere on the screen. So for that, the combo utility, he just controls so much. And when he's fully loaded here, he's a big threat. Not the least of which, too, he can do the stupid level 2 whenever he wants, right? Which we already talked about. So JP with meter is exceptionally good. Now our number 1 is Cammy and Cammy's level 3. So much like JP, it's legitimately a full screen venture here. And the thing is, unlike JP, it's even faster. So the slowest it can possibly be is as fast as JP's, and that's from literally corner to corner here, like max character distance. Then it's as fast as JP's, and every little step you're closer, it's faster and faster and faster yet. And as a level 3, it has full invincibility, unlike, say, Mano. And it's also faster than Mano's in a lot of situations. So it has all the utility of the stuff we talked about, except it's even faster and better. So it can punish situations others can't. There's a good reason to have Blanca on the screen, because I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. The unpunishable heavy Blanca ball? No. Cammy can punish it. She can punish it. Like, this move is like about the safest move in the dang game. JP can't punish it, by the way. JP is too slow. He will get blocked if he tries his level 3. Mano, she's like literally a pixel too far away to punish it despite the speed and the range. Cammy, she has 3 bars, and Blanca goes for his Blanca ball. For Blanca, then it's game over. It's guaranteed punish every time. So that just to tell you, man, the relative range, speed, and everything this move has, it is legitimately just that good. So for that reason, it pulls top spot. It has all those other strengths, it's just faster and better. So that's my list. And once again, naturally, this is my opinion. But it's my opinion backed with some of the facts and knowledge that I've given. If it was just coolness, like Honda's level 3 is easily the coolest level 3 in the game, right? Like, look at that, right? That's so cool. But sadly, it's good for about combos, and that's about it, right? So that said, I know you got some opinions, so please post in the comments below. Do you agree, disagree? Do you think there's some supers that should have made the list that didn't? Post it in the comments below. Let's talk it out. But otherwise, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.